me, friends, and pity me. Look upon me, friends, and pity me, turning back at the night's edge to say goodbye to the sun. Look upon me, friends, and pity me, turning back at the night's edge to say goodbye to the sun that shines for me no longer. Now sleepy death summons me down. Now sleepy death summons me down to Artron. There is no... that cold shore. There is no bright song there, nor any music. Look upon me, friends, and pity me, turning back at the night's edge to say goodbye to the sun that shines for me no longer.
Doesn't work.
Who are you?
Continue.
How often have I heard the story of Niobe, Tantalus' wretched daughter? How the stone clung fast about her ivy clothes. And they say the rain falls endlessly, and rifting soft snow. Her tears are never done. I feel the loneliness of her death in mine.
Good. When are you playing Antigone?
Oh, this is just an exercise for now.
I hope I won't miss the premiere.
Oh, you work here?
And here it is. Its Majesty. The poster of the premiere being crucified. No one notices the actor's sweat spills over it like Myron. The premiere is a celebration. Yes, that day is a miracle. The audience is gathered in the lobby. There's a long queue at the cash register. Somebody barely got a ticket. Someone was invited. Theater experts are gathered in one team. They're strange but bold.
There's a beautiful lady rocking her hand fan, cooling her rosy bosom.
Young girls and boys gaze at each other, observing each other. The lobby's murmuring. People are gathered here. People of different races, ages, social status, united by one feeling. The anticipation of the performance. The entrance to the parterre and the lodges are guarded by uniformed gatekeepers and cable diners. They're eager of the miracle that should be born on stage.
The first bell chimes.
The audience squawks like a bunch of alarmed seagulls. Order appears in chaos. The entrance to the parterre and the lodges are opened. The audience moves to the seats. There's a huge fuss in the hallway.
The second bell chimes.
Backstage, the actors are preparing for the performance. Everyone's in place except one. They're searching for him, whispering with short sentences. Anxious. Finally, he appears.
The third bell chimes.
The parterre is silent. Then, there's one cough. Then, there's another one. Lights fade. Silence and darkness reign. Life is theater, said the great William Shakespeare. Well, maybe theater is life, William. Both one and the other. The stage, the hardwood, is where reality is made up, and what is said is reality. Here is everything that exists and doesn't. Time moves backwards and forwards here. Here the feelings are either real or created. Here is where truth and lies intersect. Theater is eternity, and we can touch it.
Are you an actor?
I was.
How about now?
Now I've decided to die on stage.
Here on this stage?
Yes, on this stage. Whenever the time comes, of course. How I miss the premiere. How about you?
Oh, I'm not sure how that goes yet. I'm still preparing for my first role.
And your first role is Antigone.
No, that's just an exercise for now, but one day, when I reach my goal, when I climb to the top...
On a pedestal.
Right, on a pedestal. When all the flowers in the world will fall under my feet, when my name will be known to all, rich and poor, foolish and wise, young and old, cities and villages will be covered with my posters and my photos. And then I will definitely fulfill this dream and play the role of Antigone.
I cannot applaud you this time.
Why not?
Play your first role first. Then work hard. And if you still want to play Antigone, let me know. I know by then I won't be able to understand anything any longer. No, I will. So if you still want to play Antigone, come here on this stage, and I'll probably give you a round of applause from there.
From where?
Where the performance ends.
Where does the performance end?
Whenever the applause begins, of course.
I gotta go.
Do you have a pass?
No, what time is it?
It's past 11, the curfew has started. You can't go anywhere before the morning.
Why aren't you wearing a mask?
My mask is invisible, and it's my best guardian.
And aren't you going home? Do you have a pass?
I don't have a pass, but I don't have a home either.
How come?
Haven't you heard about... Haven't you heard about street artists? Musicians, pantomimes, clowns, sons of bitches who are spread all over the world making faces at tourists.
I'll be right back.
Don't leave me. Once upon a time, long ago, in the southwest of Europe, in Spain, I found myself in a cave. And then I heard a strange voice. Suddenly, she appeared. In the moonlight, I could only see her silhouette. She approached me and she put this glowing magical stone on the ground and she began to rock.
It's man who made God's portrait by his own image, not vice versa.
There were no cities, no skyscrapers, nothing but raw nature, both beautiful and terrifying, gentle and primordial, strengthened by sincerity and control. Order reigned alone. Then someone came and scratched something on the stone, and the self-made beauty disappeared somewhere. He began to think and dream. Chaos commenced. Tap, tap, and you will hear them. The ancient heartbeat, you will see their dreams and ambitions. Time is empty. It does not exist. They were here for a moment. For a second, they touched something on the stone. And the self-made beauty disappeared. You see, the hunter has the spear, and wherever he goes, he will kill the deer.
Oh no, please save the deer, it's wounded and
If we save the deer, we'll leave a few dozen of our ancestors starving in the past.
Please save the deer, I'm begging you, please.
Bring me the water of immortality. The deer has died.
You're a wizard.
No, I'm a street clown. This was my number. I'd perform it where the gods reside, on Wall Street.
You were in Wall Street? Well, tell me how it was.
Well, you have a phone. Pick up your phone, look it up. You'll see for yourself. Although it's not the same as it was before.
So you're a street artist.
No, I'm an actor.
And how did you end up here in my theater?
In your theater? Go home. It's late.
I can't go yet. There's still curfew.
Call the hotline, they'll give you a pass.
I already did. I'll get my pass in a bit and I'll go home to rest. I have my first rehearsal with Mrs. Sarajisvili at 11 a.m. tomorrow. She's an immense director.
An immense director. Of course. Even her last name is immense. Sarajisvili.
Yeah, she's an immense director. You probably haven't seen her play Living in a Kitchen.
Is it interesting? Living in a kitchen?
Last year, I heard she was planning to do a show in our theater, and I struggled for a year to get this role. And finally, when she came to the city, I just followed her like a shadow. I tried to appear everywhere she did. One time, I even said hello. Yeah, I bumped directly into her. I was standing so close to her, I was shaking. Well, we didn't say anything, we just passed each other, but I got so shy, my heart was beating
You
so
got
much.
shy and still you decided to follow her around into parties, hallways, conferences, brothels. She likes women and men sometimes. What's your name?
Eleonora.
Nora?
Eleonora.
You thought that Sarajisvili was the only way for you to be on stage and succeed, that this was the only chance for the world to be covered with your photos, and you become an idol, like a dead deer, a soulless idol.
Why soulless?
Because an idol has no soul.
Yeah, even a soulless idol is a part of someone's soul. Well, I'm sure this is my part to play.
Please continue. I want to know how you got it.
There was a casting in the theater. They chose 5 candidates. We each had to prepare a monologue, show it to Master Sarajisvili, and she would make a final decision and choose only 1 from 5. I was preparing for 2 weeks, just working, and then at that time the pandemic began. You know, from my rooftop you can see both the sunset and the sunrise, and at dawn a breeze blows through the mountain peaks. And I go there in the evenings to work on my character. And I went there that night, I fell asleep, and I got a cold, I got fever, and because of the regulations or some dumb shit, I was forbidden to go to the theater for a certain time.
Of course they did the casting without you.
How did you know?
Because no one would reschedule a casting because of one newcomer.
Oh, yeah. The casting went without me. I was sitting at home with fever. I was crying so much. I was saying goodbye to my dream. And then, I don't know why, but I decided to go to the streets. And for some reason, I went to Bethlehem Cathedral and I fell on my knees near the icon of Virgin Mary. And I remember just desperately begging the Lord for another opportunity, just one chance. I really wanted. I just needed this role. And I remember praying, and with tears in my eyes, I was watching how my dream was being shattered. And then suddenly my phone rang.
Sarajisvili was calling?
Yeah, I came to my senses. There was no one except me in the temple. Hello?
Hello, Eleonora. Maia would like to speak to you.
God, I do not know any other woman on the face of the earth who has such a pleasant voice.
Hello, Eleonora. We just wanted to make sure that you were the girl that we met in the theater hallway.
Yes, we met in the theater once.
I read your coursework transcript and I would like to cast you. We will wait for you to recover, grab a test, and then in 14 days at 11 o'clock we'll have our first rehearsals.
I was standing in front of statue of Virgin Mary and I was talking to Master Sarajisvili on my phone. She was offering me a part.
We already chose your scene partner. It will be Gostim. See you then.
Yeah, everything was like that, and my partner will be the famous Gostim. Yeah, I wanted to get up. I didn't have the strength. But I felt as if I was flying, you know? No, you know, rather if heaven exists, it was right there. It was all around me in that temple.
The Lord fulfilled such a dream, and you're still not sure if heaven exists. If If the Lord helped you, that means heaven does exist. Now tell me, along the way to the temple, did you meet anyone? Did you tell anyone of your predicament?
No, I don't remember meeting anyone. I remember kneeling down and I felt terrible pain in my knees. Oh yeah, and then someone came in and helped me up and gave me a mask, and then I remembered that I was barefoot. I mean, it didn't matter because I couldn't feel anything. I was so happy. I returned home with a fulfilled dream. I fell asleep soon after, and in the morning when I woke up, I was completely healthy. And ever since then, I've been coming to the theater in the evenings, and you know, all the performances have been cancelled due to the pandemic, so there's only me and the janitor here. And you know, I'm getting used to it. I'm working on my character and preparing for my first rehearsal.
Which will happen tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Oh my God, the innocent virgin must have walked barefoot for the wish to come true.
Yeah, it seems so, yeah. And how about you? Why haven't I seen you before? How did you even end up here?
It's a long story.
We have time, it's only 12.
It happened 48 years ago. No, 49.
So back in the 20th century.
I was working in the theater. I had 3 main parts, a good salary, and only good hope for the future. Only bigger dreams to come true. Every day I would wake up and tell myself, life is beautiful. I had lots of fans, lots of applause, and back then the amazing Peter Masko was managing the theater.
What? You knew Peter Masko?
I knew him. I worked with him. We were friends.
Well, what was he like?
He would come to the theaters with his shoulders bent. And then at a certain point, he would raise his back and a beautiful, dizzying rehearsal would take place. He would create his own world and we would join this world, his world. And with our help, a visible or invisible miracle would be born on stage every minute. In the evenings, those miracles would be born in front of an audience. We believed that the fate of humanity, the present and the future, was being manifested by these miracles. We had lots of applause. We played play after the other, and never have I seen an empty seat in the parterre. Now, Peter Masko and the audience have disappeared somewhere. Time has eaten both of them. You see, time is one big minute, one feeling, one breath. Time is never enough. You know what I dream about most often?
Time?
The eyes of thrilled spectators. You see, the look you have right now, only this is eternal.
My look? Tell me what happened next.
The performance ended. One day it just finished. I was getting ready in my dressing room. I was invited to a dinner and I was already tying my tie, and then I heard a soft knock on the door. Come in.
Hello. I am a theater researcher and art critic. I could have asked Maestro Peter or the administrator of the theater to bring me to you, but I snuck in. Can we do an interview?
Yes?
We'll wait for you at the Hilton Hotel in an hour.
In an hour, the most beautiful, loving time of my life began. Back then, I believed that the world was ruled by dreams. Then I realized that the world was ruled by passions. Then we boarded a big white ship and sailed far, far away into another continent. I followed her to her homeland. I left everything behind. My family, my friends, and confused Maestro Peter. He didn't even say goodbye. He just raised his glasses, looked me in the eyes and said, imagination is more important than knowledge. When you see how men have developed, you'll understand that imagination is more important than knowledge. You see, what we have now is the result of the imagination of our ancestors. And what the future generation will have will be the result of our imagination. And then he removed his glasses and whispered in my ear, "This is not my opinion. Einstein told me, even before he created the theory of relativity." And then he disappeared somewhere into the curtains. Back then, I didn't understand what Maestro was trying to tell me, what was cooking in his genius brain. At first, I thought he was just sad that I was leaving the theater. Then I thought maybe he was giving me advice. Until today, I don't understand what he was trying to tell me. But it didn't matter to me back then. It didn't even matter to me that I had to swim across the ocean. The only thing that mattered was Nora. Her beautiful eyes, her hot body, her unquenchable passion. And I was happy. I was happy that she came to me for real and not in my imagination. And then our story ended. And I set my foot to the ground.
I have a kettle in my backpack. Would you like some coffee?
No, thank you, I'm good.
I'll bring some coffee. You know, coffee is everything for me. When you travel a lot, you take everything with you. I'll bring some coffee.
The man is so strange. I mean, old and interesting, but very youthful. Well, good thing he's here. Who would stay up alone here all night? I have my first rehearsal tomorrow. I would have spent the whole night anxious. I just missed up into a person. You cannot approach anyone. You cannot shake anyone's hands. Our faces are covered with knicker-like masks. We're walking around in empty streets with sadness and despair and just fear. Faceless fear of future. The flood is inevitable. What did Einstein say? Our imagination creates the future of our...
Hello?
Are you the one who requested a pass?
I don't need it anymore. Can I cancel my request?
Do not hang up. We remind you that the World Health Organization has declared a pandemic on Earth. This is a terrible virus. It is forbidden to approach people within 1 meter. Citizens are obliged to wear a mask. Don't show your face to each other. Even a smile is contagious. The curfew is in effect. Walking under the moonlight is also dangerous for health. Administrative punishment is imposed for disobedient, self-willed, and free citizens.
Cancel my request!
Your order has been cancelled. Your subscriber number is 999245567. The conversation is over. You can hang up.
Shall we continue?
What?
Acting.
Oh, we're acting?
Sorry, it slipped out of my mouth. It's an old habit. What do you expect of an actor that left the stage for so long and that has come back to ask for?
You could have started with your next line.
Woodstock.
Woodstock, Oh Lord, won't you buy me Mercedes-Benz?
I am in a foreign city, used to fame and popularity. Now I'm in this strange city. I have no job, I have no money. I'm living with Nora. The longer time passes, the later she comes back home. Excuses for work and meetings. And I spend more and more time with my coffee and imagination.
friends all drive Porsche.
Where have you been?
Oh, not sleeping?
I was waiting for you.
Do you want coffee?
Yes, with cognac. And you?
Mm-hmm. Will we make it?
Me again?
Did you do the test runs?
I'll go make some coffee.
How did they go?
They said I had a bad accent, that I should probably come back, work on it, and try again another time. I still remember when Nora introduced me to Katie. Still remember her green eyes, both beautiful and terrifying. There was the secret behind her virtuous gaze. In the 60s, the youth went crazy. Everyone was a hippie.
Make love, not war.
Give peace a chance.
Should we go?
Go where?
Woodstock, there's a huge event in Bethel. All the rock stars, artists, free people, and lunatics for freedom. Let's go where freedom is reborn. Let's go.
When?
From 15th to 18th of August. Freedom, lots of weed, best music, beautiful people. Let's go and take Katie with us.
I can't. I have an audition. I'm preparing for Hamlet. I might just get the part.
Fuck Hamlet, man. Let's go where freedom is reborn. With Katie.
No.
Well, as you wish. Katie and I are going.
On the 15th of August, I found myself sitting in Katie's Cabriolet Mercedes. And I still remember this image. The wind going through Nora and Katie's long hair. There was something mystical about this battle. And this image came back to my mind when I met Rusty. Eleonora, do you know who Rusty is?
No.
How would you know?
And where's Nora now? Did you lose her?
Did I lose her? Maybe somewhere in Christiania, old and wrinkled, high as a kite, hitting the last puff with some old lesbos, and she says that life was beautiful to her. In reality, the fear of death and loneliness is slowly suffocating her, just like me.
Everyone's afraid of death. You broke up?
Woodstock ended. One day it just finished.
Won't you buy me
We were among the last people to stay there.
My friends all drive for shade.
In the fields full of garbage, hungry, lonely people wandered, dazed by opium. The musicians lit a fire and disappeared somewhere. 500,000 people were left confused, and with them the world afraid by too much freedom. 500,000 people disappeared somewhere, and everyone was screaming, "Give peace a chance." After that, Katie, Nora, and I, we were rolling in the fields. We were hugging each other, and we were happy. Or we just reassured ourselves that we were somehow. And when it was impossible to stay there any longer, we went back home. I started to think about the planet, humanity, and I believed that the so-called social enemy of the planet was industrialization, which was gaining power back then. I wanted to win Nora's heart by telling her about my thoughts, my feelings. But she started to spend less and less time with me. One day she wrote an article about Woodstock, and it got picked up by huge publishing companies. One night, she came back home later than usual. Rather, she crept in like a late husband comes back.
I'm in love with Katie, and we're moving in together. I've paid a month's rent, so you can stay here for a month.
And that
Life is beautiful.
And that was it. She left me alone, confused, humiliated. Back back then, I had no money, I had no job. And it had been a year since I had set foot on the theater. Usually, a man like me would perform on stages lit by torches, full of gold and silver. And I believed that fate was preparing this for me. I should have lived like Caesar, like Lear, Creon, bathed with luxury and fame. But here I was. I ended up in a poor hostel for failed artists next to the East River under the Brooklyn Bridge. Every day I would wake up to the hums of ships going under the bridge and rumble of trains going over the bridge. That noise saved my sick soul when my one and only love left me, alone and confused. In the month of March, this noise kept me going. And I understood that life goes on, and if you're smart enough to act, one day you'll become a famous liar and an egoist. And then your loved one will fall down to their knees. They'll cry their heart out, look you in the eyes, and ask you for forgiveness. But here I am. I creeped into the theater. I have nothing but this box, and my cold and deranged bones, and a backpack full of dried breadcrumbs. And Rusty, he told me that love comes as a fine breeze. Then it turns into this hurricane that takes everything with it and leaves you in this hot, sandy desert. And I burned. I started drinking, getting stoned. For 15 years, I burned. I saw my shadow disappear into the sand. And one day, I saw a familiar silhouette of Maestro Peter. What are you doing here?
I'm on tour here.
Please take me back to your theater.
No, I can't do that. You know Rusty.
No.
He'll come to you tomorrow. Maybe he can help. Who's Rusty?
And Rusty, he really came to me. He gave me a few tips on street performances, and he helped me get permission to hold such performances on Wall Street.
Well, show me what Rusty taught you.
Okay, so it's a sunny, hot day. You're walking down the busy Wall Street, and suddenly you see
That's great, but I think I've seen this man in a blizzard somewhere.
where?
I don't remember. Please continue. I love your stories.
I was acting every day. I had my own performance on Wall Street. You see, Wall Street, this is a pretty narrow street that links the East River, thank you, with Broadway. And it was symbolic to me that Broadway, the house of art and theater, and Wall Street, the abode of the golden gods, they lived next to each other. They were neighbors. One of them is a liar, obsessed with public ideas, and the other is a lustful, selfish egoist. They cannot live without each other. You see, the liar needs the passion of an egoist. Without it, he cannot dream. His imagination will die, and therefore he will die himself. The egoist, he has a mind full of passions. There is no space for dreams. So he takes the dream of a liar, turns it into reality, and gives a tiny bit to the liar just for him not to starve to death. This is how the tandem lives, like flesh and soul.
A plus B times A minus B equals A squared minus B squared. The formula of the difference of squares. This kind of...
Are you kidding me?
No, this is what my piano teacher would say when she didn't understand something.
Anyways, I was walking down the streets every day, looking around who was famous, who was not, who was an actor, who was not working, or who was just unlucky.
I walked past the motley, deceitful Broadway and the selfish Wall Street, and I saw golden robots walking everywhere, male robots with black suits, young women with short dresses, and they all had the same look. Squeezed and sharp as a thorn.
You know what? Wait. If you lived near the East River, you could go straight to Wall Street from there. Why would you go on Broadway?
That was a long time ago. So many things happened, so much time has passed. What's the importance of details at this point? I have a photo in my backpack. I'll bring it and I'll show it.
Have you seen my glasses? Have you seen my glasses? Have you seen my glasses? Oh no! Oh no, help me! There's a mouse!
Eleonora, what's happening?
Help me! There's a mouse!
I scared it off.
Did you see it?
What?
The mouse!
I scared it off. The poor thing was more frightened than you were.
Why am I on the floor? Did you see it? I'm scared the world's ending. Oh my god.
Calm down.
I'm good, thank you. Oh, continue. You were telling me about Wall Street.
If it will calm you down. Where were we? Are you afraid of mice?
No. Yes, a bit.
What else are you afraid of?
I get this awful feeling when I hear a woman's high heels click on the floor, or when I hear a man's heavy footsteps.
Those footsteps, they remind me of wealth, peace, and luxury. You see, this beautiful dream house. I'm landing in my helicopter on a green field after a long day at work. My servants, they're waiting for me at the entrance of the house. I walk past them. I enter the hallway. It's full of decorations. Insignificant to me. They've been there for a year now. I should probably remove them and hang new ones. I go straight to my closet, unbutton my shirt, and put on my favorite robe. I head to the dining room. A beautiful and delicious dinner awaits me. Susanna?
Oh. Yes?
Is my wife back?
No, the madame isn't back yet.
I'll have my dinner later. Can you bring some ice to my office? I walk to my office and I hear the piano playing. My boy, my kid, he's playing the piano. Specialists predict a bright future for him. I mean, he's already rich, healthy. What he needs is success. That's why he needs to play the piano 7 hours a day. I go to my office. I pour myself some whiskey. I flip through my profits and losses. The piano stops playing. My boy enters my office, asks me about his mother, kisses me on the cheek, and goes to bed. And here it is, the magical sound of high heels kicking on the floor. My wife, my beautiful wife is back.
Love me forever.
She enters my office.
And let forever start.
Why are you late?
I didn't think you'd have dinner at home, so I went to the opera. Did you drink again? Did you have dinner?
I was waiting for you to have dinner, but I've lost my appetite, sweetheart.
All right, I'll change and go to bed.
I'll follow you later on.
Mio, love me forever.
She takes her beautiful behind to the bedroom. I'll follow her later on. I'll cover her with mortuary sheets first, and then cover myself later. Oh, madre mio, love me forever. Oh, madre mio.
When you came home, your confident step echoed throughout the house. Your little boy stopped playing for a second. His heart trembled.
I don't know.
I know. I spent my childhood in such a big and bright house, just like you dream of. I spent long evenings at the piano, and the walls of our house were painted white and gold. We had everything: maid, babysitter, music teacher, foreign language teacher, once a month parties, which I used to sneak into from the closet behind the white carpeted staircase. And my parents didn't care about me. They thought I was sleeping in my bedroom. Yeah, they didn't really care for me. They had their work. Father is a banker. Mother is a founder of an art fund. So both were engrossed in their work. And I was left in the hands of a nanny. I can still remember that terrible smell of her perfume, her worn-out skirts and jacket, and her hair curled in rings, and some unknown words, and a strict look behind which there was nothing but one desire: to sit in front of the TV as soon as possible, take off her shoes, and put her feet on the magazine table. And yeah, my parents didn't care about me. They had their work. By the time I would wake up, they were busy preparing for work. When they would come back from work, I was already asleep. And although it was rare, sometimes when the piano teacher would teach me the rhythm and I was struggling with my tired fingers, we would hear this clicking sound of the steps. And at that time, the rhythm countdown would stop. And my teacher, an old, beloved, sadistic maestro, would look at me with frightened eyes. I didn't understand what she was afraid of. I was just resting my tired fingers and thinking to myself, now my father will come in, hear how I play, and praise me. But he never did. My mom looked at us once, which made Maestro very happy.
Mom asked, "Honey, have you seen my lipstick? I've lost it somewhere."
No. She said her and my dad were going to New York on some business and that it would have been nice if I went with them.
And did you go to the trip with your parents?
Of course, I was so happy.
When was that?
I don't remember. I was born in 1999, so around 2008. I was 9 back then. And we flew by plane. We flew by order, so there were no other passengers besides us, and it felt as if someone switched my dad. He was joking around and playing with me, and Mother laughed a lot, and I can still see this huge, fair, fierce guardian of freedom, a guarantee of human well-being.
Which was pawned at the bank in exchange for our prosperity and our freedom. Freedom doesn't exist. It's a lie. All of this is complicated and incomprehensible, and it would have been incomprehensible even to Antigone herself. You were a young lady with her parents, in the shadow of a mighty idol, and
I
you
was happy, just full of hope, and in that moment I felt the highest state of tranquility. Maybe because my parents were careless and joyful with me. If I ever have a husband and kids, will I protect them?
From what?
Well, from my passions and my dreams and my wishes.
You'll refuse to play Antigone on a stage full of flowers?
And Dyke, the goddess of justice, did not ordain such a law for mortal men. I didn't think your decree would outweigh the firm and unwritten laws of the gods. For they live not today, nor yesterday, but for all time. And no one knows how long ago they were revealed. I was not about to pay the gods' price for a fear of one man's arrogance. I knew very well that I would die one day. How could I not? Even if you hadn't made your decree, it would still be so.
Good.
We were staying at the hotel in St. Regis, New York, and I remember how proudly the hotel manager presented to us.
The St. Regis Hotel is not a skyscraper. Although, most of our clients are most often famous people, like Salvador Dali, Sir Elton John himself, even Elvis Presley was here once. And the St. Regis Hotel was mentioned in Forbes magazine. Honestly, the St. Regis Hotel is the history of New York itself. This was said by the manager back then, and it was as if a rush of freedom went through his body. Again, he was one of the Woodstock generation. He had the same desire to go back home, unbutton his tight manager suit, and live his freedom in his own bedroom. He would want to run on sandy beaches with colorful shirts and shorts, but he couldn't. His high social status as a manager and his economical situation wouldn't allow him. He had to put money aside for the mortgage on the house he bought in Manhattan first. Then he would put money aside for his own business. And when he would retire, if he hadn't given up on his wish already, he would achieve his dreams. Only if his cold and tired body
Well, I don't
would
know about
allow
the
it.
manager, but the hotel was wonderful. It looked like a fairy tale. It was just sparkling.
So the purity and naivety of such fairy tale wins over the toil of a human being.
You're probably a horrible scene partner.
Why?
Well, you never let me finish my story. You always go on about yours and never let me finish.
I'm sorry, please continue.
Right. We were having breakfast on a balcony shaded by skyscrapers. I wanted a sweet cookie. My mom forced me to eat eggs. Father intervened and argued.
The King and I will be performed at the St. James Theatre. If you eat your eggs, if you listen to your mom, we'll go and watch the evening performance.
What does that mean?
I'm sorry, I cut you off again. It's true, if I had stayed in the theater for that much time, I would have been
How did you know that that was the exact musical my dad took my mom and me?
It's just a coincidence. This was my favorite play. I love your Reiner. He's my favorite actor.
Strange coincidence. Yeah. If you were to say Patti LaBelle's concert will be held in St. James's Theatre, that would also be a strange coincidence.
I'm just an old man. I love hearing stories. Please continue. Did you eat your eggs? Did you see the evening performance?
Yes. We went and we even met the person, an actor who changed my life. And on that day, I decided that I'd become an actress.
You met Yul Brynner. Oh my God, a young lady and a dying
No,
genius.
you know what? This is just impossible. You're an unbearable old man. You interrupted me again. I will not tell you anything anymore. My sunglasses. I've left them here. Have you seen them?
Maybe you left them at home.
No, I left them here. I remember very vividly. I left them here. I'll ask the janitor. Maybe he knows.
The janitor's not here.
Where is he?
You know, the pandemic changed a lot of things in my life. I'm happy I made it back here. To my town. To my people. I don't know what would have happened if I had stayed there. A homeless street actor in empty streets. How would I survive? How would I pay rent? How long would my small savings last? And I felt this strange fear in my heart.
I felt like the world was ending. When you travel a lot, superficial impressions wear off. You start feeling the environment. I saw the world becoming more and more pale. Friendships, relationships, people were becoming pale. And I decided to come back here. To my stage, to my theater. I thought people would remember me here. They didn't. Only the theater janitor remembered me. I didn't know that he was a big fan of mine, that he saw most of my plays. We agreed that I would stay here in the theater in the evenings, and he would go back to his grandchildren and spend some time with them. So now, I'm the janitor of the theater. A ghost. And a demon.
There's no one besides you? There's no one besides you?
No, are you scared?
You? No. Yes, a bit.
Did you find your glasses?
I'll look for them later. You don't look old at all.
I have to sleep now.
You're gonna sleep right now.
Yes, I'm gonna sleep here. On the stage. I have beautiful dreams when I sleep here. You have rehearsals tomorrow. I'll bring you a sleeping bag.
No, thank you. I'm good. I'll wait for the traffic to resume and I'll go home to rest.
As you wish. You were telling me about how your life changed after Broadway.
Well, my life changed a bit later after I got back, and my decision was determined by one encounter.
Please, tell me. I love hearing stories before I sleep. Usually I would leave the TV on and just listen to it. Oh, how I miss my mom's lullabies. Please tell me what happened when you came back from the trip with your parents.
Okay, but this story is not as sweet as a lullaby. It's poisonous. It stings.
It's fine. Continue, please.
Well, we got back, and then it's just started again. Non-stop piano lessons, my parents' jobs, their fights, and happiness just disappeared somewhere. And then one night, Dad came home a bit too late, and he seemed super sad. He gathered all the staff in the living room and calmly announced, "Thank you for your service throughout the years to me and my family. Each of you will receive an additional month's compensation." Everyone was so happy. My music teacher even clapped. "Don't hurry," Dad said. "Based on the current situation, please understand my decision and do not ask me any unnecessary questions. All of you will be fired from tomorrow." He finished and left. Our governess burst into tears. "Let's go do your homework." My music teacher tried to take me away, but I slipped from her arms and I went to Dad's office. And then I saw him with his back to me, holding a gun. And I got so scared, I froze. He was so deep into his thoughts that he didn't notice me. He turned around and then he saw me and he put the gun behind his back. He sat down at the desk and slid the gun into the drawer, and then he said, "Come here." He smiled, he kissed my cheek, he touched my nose, and then he said, "Go and study. You and your mom will have dinner together tonight." And I was happy. And so I went to study. And my music teacher said, "Your dad probably wants to take you on a holiday. That's why he fired me." And then we finished and she left. And then I slept peacefully. No one woke me up the next morning. So I spent long hours in bed. I was daydreaming. I was dreaming about a huge concert hall, a piano, and the audience, and I was playing, and everyone was listening to me, just fascinated. And then when I finished playing, in a couple of seconds, applause roared. And then there was this magical clicking sound of women's high heels. So my daydream just disappeared. The heels paused. I was anxiously waiting for my mom to enter the room, but the heels just went away. And then after a while, I heard some shouting and just shattering glass from the living room. So I went there and I saw my dad in the sofa with his head down and my mom circling around him screaming, "How could you do this? How could you waste my father's money? I was already fed up with you. No, nobody needs you all bankrupt and poor. You aren't thinking about your daughter or me. You're a fucking beggar now, a beggar." And then Dad wanted to say something, but Mom took a vase and smashed it on the ground. "I don't even want to hear her voice. Shut up!" Dad shouted. He jumped up from the sofa and covered my mom's mouth with his hand, so I got so scared, so I went to his office, and I got the gun from the drawer and went back to the living room, and I didn't know. I just wanted them to stop fighting. I didn't even have a target. I didn't know. And then I fainted. And the next thing I remember is that I wake up in my room. I'm alone. I go to check on my mom. She's not there. I go to Dad's office. He's not there. So I go to the living room. And I see my dad kneeling down and cleaning the bloodstains. And then I fainted again.
Your blind shot, is your mother alive?
Mom. She was slowly dying anyway. Her death began when her intelligent and unworthy children turned into foolish people. When instinct was oppressed by feelings. When her children attacked the world. Mother died when she was humming a tired and exhausted lullaby by her hero's cradle. Every minute, every second, we walk over her mutilated body and cause her more and more pain, but she will endure everything. Mother is earth, and we're killing her every second, every minute, and even eternities are made of bullshit. Human race? What? It doesn't exist. We made it all up. We came up with our names, our feelings, our senses, our love and hate and birthplace and family.
What started Eleonora?
Don't lie to me, John. Get rid of your makeup and let me see you. Straighten her back. Why are you playing these games with me? You were my idol, my one and only idol. One smile, half a word, and I'd be forever yours.
I just wanted to tell you that.
Yeah, and who are you now? A selfish and a well-known liar?
It was a beautiful day. I was walking down the street, enjoying the weather, and I see this beautiful young lady barefoot, and I knew her. She was a part of our new cast. Excuse me, are you okay? Excuse me, are you okay? Excuse me.
I lost my part, okay? Because I'm sick and I'm fever and I'm shivered and I'm dying, you know? I'm already dead. I lost my part and I died.
What's your name?
Eleonora.
No, Eleonora, you didn't lose anything. For whoever asks will find, whoever searches will get, and whoever calls will get an answer.
I have to go to church. It was you fucking liar. It was you there.
Hello, it's John Gostim. Can you pass the phone to Maestro Shabadzi? Hello, Maestro, it's John. I'll gladly accept the main role in your play, Living in a Kitchen, only if my scene partner is Eleonora, a member of your young troupe, yes.
Do not give virtue to dogs. Do not cast your pearls before pigs. Thus they will trample them under their feet and turn and devour you. You straighten your back and continue playing with me, you fucking clown.
Eleonora, the flood started.
Oh, the flood, John, began when there were no skyscrapers, no cities, no countries, no nations. Nothing but the raw nature, beautiful and terrifying, gentle and primordial, strengthened by sincerity and control. Order reigned alone, but someone came in and scratched something other. Why did you
Eleonora,
lie to me, John?
The flood will start, the water will creep in, everything will cease to exist. The rain will wash our cities, our streets. Can you hear them chanting in the square? Come on, let's go, let's join them. He stopped chanting. Go where?
I don't know from where.
The flood started. The water will creep in. But we're human beings. Our minds have been carved with our feelings, our desires, everything. We are the most powerful beings. There is nothing more powerful than us. Come on, let's go. Let's sleep.
Oh my God! There's the mouse! Oh my God! Let's go! Oh my God!
Where do we go now?
On Moon? On Mars? I don't know.
Neither on the moon nor on Mars. There is no theater, Eleonora. I love you.
I love
love
you. I love you, John.
I love you, Eleonora.
Like sunshine.
Like a field full of roses.
Rough sea.
Birds chirping.
The dawn.
Snowy mountain slopes.
Blizzard.
Snow.
An almond garden bursting in spring.
Our house.
Our children.
Our love.
Our universe.
And then we boarded a big white ship and sailed far, far away to another continent.